Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to a brand new video. It's Total Extreme Wrestling. I need to say Football Manager, but it's Total Extreme Wrestling on your Wednesday afternoon. And we're coming off the back of a quite successful Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I think it was a 71, 72, early 70s sort of thing. So 7 out of 10 is what you would take with the roster the way it is right now in terms of popularities. Pretty good main event, a triple threat for the WWE Championship. But now we're building up towards the next one. And actually it's two pay-per-views that we're building up towards. Backlash, of course, for the main roster, and NXT Takeover in your house. Now to build up to that, we've got some big matches, including Wednesday's NXT Women's Championships match. It's Charlotte Flair against Rhea Ripley. The best way to start it, though, is to pick up with Monday Night Raw. Now, the story threads that are there, of course, Drew McIntyre beat Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins in a triple threat. Where does he go from here as WWE Champion? The same for Becky Lynch. She beat Nia Jax. Where does she go as Raw Women's Champion? We've got new tag team champions when Murphy and Shelton Benjamin, their disciples, won the titles from the Street Profits. And where will they go from there? And of course, finally, the Money in the Bank winner is on Monday Night Raw. AJ Styles has the briefcase. Will he cash in on Drew McIntyre tonight? Let's find out. Raw opens up with a 54 rated match. Not fantastic here. Kevin Owens 57, Jinder 49. So it's about what you'd expect in terms of the popularities. But Kevin Owens pins Jinder in about 20 minutes. They had a lot of time. It's former world champion Jinder, so we're trying to squeeze every last bit out of him that we can. But these two don't have chemistry, didn't seem to click, and made for an awkward bout. Disappointing in one way, but we open up with a babyface victory to try and get the fans over. Kevin Owens celebrates, he wins, he's won, he celebrates, he starts walking up the aisle. When the music of AJ Styles hits, the Money in the Bank winner comes out to the ring. They cross paths on the ramp, AJ just holding the briefcase in Kevin Owens' face to really ramp something up. You get the idea of what we're going with here, and we are going to start up something between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles. Of course, this is also, by the way, is being held at Madison Square Garden. The fans would pop big for Owens and Styles getting in each other's face. I know they've had a few before over on Smackdown, but this is swapping it around, so Styles will be the heel and Owens will be the babyface, and I think it'll be quite good. 71, by the way, for the little showdown here. AJ's on his way to the ring, though, for a match of his own. AJ will take on Akira Tozawa and beats him in a really good match. 70 rated match. AJ doing really well, gets time and gets the pinfall. 79 from the Mr. Money in the Bank, and Akira Tozawa 51. AJ really held it together. Really, really good stuff. And the Money in the Bank winner looks good going forward. He looks confident, he looks in control. He's obviously the best wrestler probably on the roster. The commentary will be making note of the fact that AJ is making enemies for himself, and Kevin Owens is not an enemy AJ wants to make. So 70 is pretty good for the match. Afterwards, he cuts a promo hyping himself up for 68, saying how he is Mr. Money in the Bank. Last night he did exactly what he said he was going to do, and he made the Money in the Bank match phenomenal. Now he has one goal, one quest, to make the WWE Championship phenomenal. But I ain't stupid. I'm not just going to go, right, Drew, next week, me and you, one-on-one, and make the challenge. I'm not stupid. I know what this briefcase is for. I know the best way to use it. I've watched legends such as Edge and... Nah, there's only really one. You can't call Dolph a legend or Seth a legend. It wouldn't make sense. And Drew McIntyre, when your back is turned, when you are in trouble, AJ will be there to cash in. Mark his words. And the reason is because that is phenomenal. 68. Phenomenal stuff from AJ Styles once again. The Street Profits made their entrance. Of course, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins are the former Raw Tag Team Champions, beaten last night when Murphy got a handful of the tights or something like that. I'm pretty sure I made it cheating. So they immediately challenge the new champions. They say, you know what, you won last night, but we want them back. We want our title match tonight. The disciples come out on the stage with their master, so to speak, Seth Rollins. Rollins gives a nod. Murphy says, you're on. tonight. So we got a Raw Tag Team Championship match tonight. Will the Street Profits win the titles back? It's going to be very interesting. After that, Seth Rollins himself was in action. He defeated Apollo Crews in about 5 minutes with a 60 rated matchup. Seth 79, really good performance. Apollo 54, so it's the same performances as the Akira Tozawa AJ Styles match, but there's a 10 difference in the segment. I'm assuming it's due to the time. It was a very short match. And I'm assuming that's what brought it down. But hot crowd as well, so that's pretty good. And a 60, you know what, that's pretty damn good. Liv Morgan's backstage with her new manager, or friend, as we're going to go with, Paige. Paige will be aligned with Liv Morgan going forward. And Liv Morgan, I still didn't set this as a way to turn her face. I need to do it. The game is weird. Like, to me now, I should be able to turn her face, but it doesn't work for these little segments, which is bizarre. Anyway, Paige is basically asking Liv, why are you a professional wrestler? What is it that made you want to be a professional wrestler? What is it that we need to unlock inside of you, Liv Morgan, to make you the best? To make you the Raw Women's Champion? What do we need to find? And Liv goes on about how she first saw wrestling when she was a young girl, and she's grew up idolising the likes of Bret, the Hitman Hart, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, John Cena, you can even put in there. Liv Morgan says, I want to be the best. I want to live up to everything I have got. I in the past have done some bad things, but I want to be the best wrestler, the best entertainer, the best on this microphone. She wants to be the best in the world. 50 for the segment, considering Liv's pop is okay. The Raw Women's Champion was in action next. A good match here, 65. Becky Lynch defeating Billie Kay in about 15 minutes. Says the pump handle slam, whatever. Becky gets an in-ring performance of 68, Billie Kay's 53. So a really good match here from the Raw Women's Champion. And afterwards, she's obviously got no challenger at the moment. Nia Jax has been beaten. Asuka comes on the stage and makes her intentions clear. She doesn't say anything. She just makes the signal for the championship. Asuka wants a shot at Becky Lynch. These two have had classics before for the championships. Was this where we're going? 65. We'll find out next week. Good match here, 66, and it's the United States champion Andrade defeating Cedric Alexander in 22 minutes. Really good match between two good talents. Andrade 65, Cedric 57, and a 66 rated match, so it's better than both pops, which is really, really good. Another good win for Andrade, who's starting to pick up steam as the United States champion. So really good stuff. After the match though, his celebration is cut short when Ricochet runs in and attacks, hits the flippy dippy splash, we're going to call it. Anyway, Ricochet had the advantage. Andrade down and hurt, and Ricochet stands tall this week. Of course, Andrade took Ricochet out a few weeks ago. Ricochet's back fighting, and he wants that United States Championship. He's made that very clear. It's then announced next week Ricochet will get his opportunity. It's Andrade versus Ricochet. The United States Championship will be on the line next week right here on Monday Night Raw. Should be a good match, that one. Not such a good match here. The Tag Team Championships was on the line, and Murphy and Benjamin, the Disciples, successfully defend against the former champions, the Street Profits. Murphy pinning Montez Ford. Their first defense of the titles. 56 for Dawkins, 55 for Ford, 55 for Shelton, and 56 for Murphy. So it's probably about what you'd expect, just slightly below. But it's disappointing to see that Montez Ford sustained a triceps strain. So Montez Ford suffers the injury. It's a real shame. Montez Ford is a man that I really think has got a big future. So hopefully we can do something with him when he comes back. But the main things to take from this is that the Disciples have retained the Tag Team Championships. With Montez Ford, the injury actually helps go into the next angle because, and this is why Montez Ford was pinned. Montez Ford is down hurt. Let's say he's receiving doctor's attention on outside the ring, and Murphy and Benjamin take this opportunity to start attacking Angelo Dawkins. Seth Rollins comes out and joins in. Akam comes out and joins in. Making the save on Angelo Dawkins are the Viking Raiders. That's right, Eric and Ivar run down to the ring. Seth sees it come in and soon hightails it. You can say Akam takes the beating, so to speak, as does Murphy and Benjamin. They're all fired out the ring. Dawkins and the Viking Raiders stand tall. Dawkins can then check on Montez Ford, whatever, but he's avoid being sacrificed by the Disciples. So you can see where we're heading here. We're inserting a new team into the tag team picture. We've got a tag team champions that are heels. 47 for the segment isn't fantastic, but you can see where we're heading. Drew McIntyre cut a promo ahead of the main event. It's going to be Drew versus Randy Orton, a main event set for Madison Square Garden. 72 on the promo, really good promo. And afterwards gets us a 66. That is really disappointing. Drew McIntyre defeating Randy Orton with a Future Shock DDT. Drew 70, Orton 79, and a 66 segment rating is a little bit disappointing. I'm assuming it's down to the fact there's no associated storyline. That's a really harsh way to bring it down. A really harsh way to bring it down. Of course, Randy Orton with a win would have put himself in contention for the WWE Championship opportunity, but Drew got the victory. So the question is, who is going to be Drew's next challenger? Well, to end the show, Drew McIntyre is attacked by Bobby Lashley for 50. Ooh, that hasn't worked as well as I hoped it would. Anyway, Drew McIntyre's in the ring out of nowhere. Bobby Lashley runs in and attacks, but it's a brutal attack. We really put over the aggressive nature of Bobby Lashley. He puts in the full nation. He hits the finisher that he's got. He's hitting him with chairs. He's really destroying the WWE champion with MVP and Lana at his side. Interesting, yeah, interesting. Of course, this is a match that they have done at Backlash, and Bobby, we've been building up to this. He's had the feud with Rhea, and we did say last week before the pay-per-view that on this night, on this Monday Night Raw, Bobby Lashley would have another message for everyone, and this was his message. He's destroyed the WWE champion. He stands tall. We're going to go with Bobby and Drew at Backlash, just like they did in real life. So let's see what happens here. The show itself then, a 67. I don't think that's that bad of a show. Slightly above average, maybe. I think if the main event hits your 70 rated sort of area, it's really good. The show at the start was probably the best bit. AJ is there. So 67, I don't think it's that bad. From Raw to main event, we've got a big main event for main event actually, but we'll open up with Samoa Joe defeating Riddick Moss for 50. Samoa Joe getting a good win over a big heel, as in size-wise big heel, so I can't really complain too much. 59 for Samoa Joe, Riddick Moss 31, so it's a main event type of match, main event standard of match, and the more established star gets the win. It's about what you'd expect. The Muscle Buster, by the way. I like Samoa Joe bringing that out. Thank you, Samoa Joe. Becky Lynch cut a promo on Asuka after the supposed challenge from Asuka. Becky says, listen, me and Asuka have had battles. Me and Asuka have had wars. Me and Asuka have had classics, as you so rightfully said. Asuka is a big challenge to my Raw Women's Championship. She always has been. She was the one I couldn't beat. And then I beat her. Now, Asuka is not a woman who's going to take that line down. I expected her to come back at some point to want a piece of the man. If she wants a piece of the man at Backlash, she can have a piece of the man at Backlash. But I'm not the one who makes those decisions. No, I'm not. I'm just the Raw Women's Champion. There are other people who make those decisions. I get that. But I'm just saying, Asuka, you want some, I'll happily go again. Happily. 79 for a really good promo, by the way, from the man, Becky Lynch. Really good. Tag team action here. Austin Theory and Angel. I will get this at some point. Angel Garza defeat R-Truth and Titus O'Neil. 10 minutes 21. Garza getting the pin over R-Truth with the El Muertito. I like it, actually. Austin 60. Outperformed Angel Garza, which is quite interesting. 54 apiece for the face team. 59. Good Raw match. Good main event type of match, like you'd expect, like we're on about with Joe, and the more established stars, or the younger stars at this point, go over. So pretty good. Drew McIntyre got a promo on Bobby Lashley for 71. We can sort of say Drew wasn't expecting the attack. If Bobby wanted a fight, he could have had a fight. But no, Bobby waited till Drew McIntyre had wrestled a 20-minute matchup. Bobby waited until Drew McIntyre wasn't at 100% because Bobby is a coward. That's what Drew McIntyre says. And he says, but look, I'm not here to bitch. I'm not here to whinge. I'm not here to complain. If Bobby Lashley wants a fight, he's found one. 71. Really good promo from Drew. Really good. In a 50 rated match, Liv Morgan defeated Peyton Royce for 6 minutes 17, which is now the opportunity for us to turn Liv Morgan babyface. I've had to do it so that apparently Liv Morgan turns on Liv Morgan. It doesn't make sense, this game. It's not quite in that it needed a bit of work in that, but we can now finally do it. Liv Morgan is a babyface. Yes, finally. I'm not sure this is going to go down well. Turn was a complete success, so that's really good. And now Liv and Paige are set up as a potential star partnership going forward. The Street Profits got a promo on the Disciples. Say, don't think we're done with you. What you did to Montez Ford will be revenged. I tell you something, Disciples, if you want the smoke, you've got the smoke heading your way, and it will burn you down, and you will not expect it. 58. So the Street Profits, don't count them out just yet, is what we're saying. That's ahead of the main event, by the way, a big 6-man tag. It's the Disciples, Seth Rollins, Buddy Murphy, and Shelton Benjamin against the Viking Raiders and Montez Ford. Not Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins. Montez Ford's injury was 6 days, so he will be back in time for next week's Raw, which is good. The main event then, 57. You kind of expect better. Seth carried it with a 79 performance. Eric and Ivar 60 apiece, which is really good. And he only had 15 minutes. And in the end, there is no winner, which probably brings it down. The match descends into chaos, as you'd expect with these guys. And the faces end up clearing the ring. The Disciples leave to sort of stand tall. It would have been a no contest or something like that as everyone's brawling. So that's fine. 57 and a 60 rated main event. About what we'd expect. That the promos are the main thing really carrying us there. Really good from Becky and really good from Drew. So we'll move on to NXT, where of course there's that big main event for the Women's Championship. Let's do it. Okay then, NXT with that big Women's Championship main event. We open up though with one half of the tag team champions, Matt Riddle, that's the Broserweights of course, taking on James Drake. Now, these two teams have been feuding over the last few weeks, as I'm sure you guys are aware if you've been watching. And Matt Riddle gets a win over James Drake in about 15 minutes with a guillotine choke. Matt Riddle 61, James Drake 41, so 59. Really good match, actually. Matt Riddle holding it together. He's the star, so it makes sense that he can be the attraction in the match. And it works. I'm pretty happy with that. Afterwards, though, the grizzled young veterans get in and attack the Broserweights for a 49 rated segment. They get on the mic and they do say, we said we would have the title match on our time. Well, how's about this? NXT Takeover in your house. The Broserweights versus the grizzled young veterans for the NXT Tag Team Championships is set for the pay-per-view. Really good. Scarlett Bordeaux cut a promo hyping up Karrion Kross for 38. We're going to let Scarlett do the talking. Karrion Kross won't do any talking because he is a monster. He is a beast. He doesn't do talking. His actions speak louder, and Scarlett is there to do the talking for him. 38 is fine. Finn Balor was next in action for a 53 rated matchup with Bronson Reed. Now, Bronson has next to no pop, but I thought it was a nice opponent for Finn Balor to face off. A bigger opponent, Bronson Reed, like in terms of size. So Finn Balor getting the win makes sense. Of course, 64 rated performance from him, 22 from Bronson Reed. It's a good win, 10 minutes. Balor looks good, and after the match, he gets on the mic and challenges Tommaso Ciampa. He says, "Listen, me and you, we've got this thing going on between us. We need to end it. We need to deal with it. So I say, NXT Takeover in your house. Let's give the fans what they want. Let's give what we want. Me versus you in a street fight." Big challenge there from Finn Balor. Let's see if Ciampa will accept next week. 64 for the challenge itself is pretty good from Finn Balor. Velveteen Dream was in action for a 49 rated match. So it's slightly disappointing here, although it's still better than both the pops, so I'm not sure. Velveteen Dream 45. Cameron Dreams 43. Velveteen Dream's got a better pop than that. I'm certain of it. Can I click his profile here? I can't. That's annoying. Anyway, a 49 rated matchup. They didn't have chemistry, so it made sense. Velveteen Dream getting the win over Cameron Grimes with the power line or whatever. Velveteen Dream looking good. The number one contender, of course, to the NXT Championship. But he is then attacked by the Undisputed Era. They start attacking Velveteen Dream, but they're cut off when William Regal makes his entrance and he announces that at NXT Takeover in your house, we will see the matchup that we've been waiting for. Adam Cole will defend the NXT Championship against Velveteen Dream. 59 for the announcement is pretty good. And then Regal says that's not all though, because next week we will have a 4-on-4 main event. The Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong will be in action taking on the Velveteen Dream, Kushida, and Breezango 4 versus 4 next week here on NXT. Okay, a match that was announced last week actually, and we see a big tag team action. It's Keith Lee and Mia Yim against Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. So Keith Lee and Mia Yim against the Garganos, and it's the Garganos who come out on top. Let's say Candice LeRae and Mia Yim get into a fight on the outside. It distracts Keith Lee, and Gargano gets the pin on the North American champion. 62 here, really good. Mia Yim 49, Keith Lee 57, Candice 45, and Johnny 65. So 62 matches, really, really good. After the match though, of course, Keith Lee is down injured, and Johnny Gargano gets involved in the fight between Mia Yim and Candice LeRae. 18 rated segment. The heels put Mia Yim's arm underneath the steel steps and slam the steps down, and Gargano, the scumbag that he is, teaming up with his wife to take out Mia Yim, which will just enrage Keith Lee even more. The NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair cut a promo on Rhea Ripley ahead of the main event. 68 for this one. Good match from Charlotte. Good match, good promo. And she sort of gives the traditional promo of nobody will beat me. To be the man, you've got to beat the man, but nobody will beat Charlotte Flair. Especially not that little pipsqueak from Australia, Rhea Ripley. 68, good promo. Karrion Kross squashed Isaiah Swerve Scott, really. 5 minutes. Kross was slightly off his game, but a 54 rated match is pretty good. 55 from Kross, 40 from Isaiah. Really good storyline type match. As I say, a squash. And after the match, though, Karrion Kross is neatly attacked by Dominik Dijakovic. He spots Dominik Dijakovic come in, the lights go out, and Kross has escaped in the mystical darkness. 38 for the segment is, well, not great. Rhea Ripley cut a promo on Charlotte Flair, and she's sort of in the curtain at this point, about to make her entrance. She vows to win back the NXT Championship, to put it on the map for the women of the future. And Charlotte Flair, you don't go here, and you will not be staying here. Rhea Ripley wants the title back. Now then, the main event, it's the NXT Women's Championship on the line. It's Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. And your winner, and new NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley has won the championship back. She's defeated Charlotte Flair in just under 18 minutes. Rhea Ripley is your new NXT Women's champion. 63 segment rating, really good. 62 from Charlotte, 46 from Rhea. I don't know what Rhea's pop is, but that's okay. She's now got the Women's Championship. The idea is the big celebration that Rhea Ripley had after defeating Shayna. It's not as big as that. There's nobody else there, but she is celebrating, and everyone expects she's got the title back. We're about to end the show when Rhea Ripley is attacked from behind by Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Kai and Gonzalez attack the new champion and literally lift the championship into the air to end the show. Dakota Kai with a message to the new champion. The NXT Women's division has literally transcended in one match. We've gone from Charlotte to Rhea to Dakota standing tall. 39 for the segment is disappointing, to be honest, and you can see where this is heading. Charlotte's been beaten. Rhea Ripley is champion. Dakota Kai wants a shot. 39 for the segment gives us a 62 rated NXT, which is pretty good. Increased our popularity in 35 regions. Rhea Ripley was slightly overused. It was a longer match. We need to build Ripley up a little bit more, but she is now the NXT Women's Champion. Major title change on a TV show. Major. Okay, Thursday means NXT UK, the weaker of the shows, of course. We open up with Kaylee Ray cutting a promo ahead of the Women's Championship match. 38 promo from the Women's Champion, who's now a babyface. Because reasons. But pretty good promo. That promo is ahead of the title match, which is going to open up the show. So the NXT UK Women's Championship is on the line. It's Kaylee Ray against Piper Niven, the winner of the match, by countout. And still, NXT UK Women's Champion Kaylee Ray. She defeats Piper Niven, like I say, by countout. So not clean at all. 30 rated match, 33 from Kaylee Ray, Piper Niven 29. Not great at all, but it is what it is. The idea between this is that Kaylee Ray, I'm going to say she gets dominated for a large part of it, but she tries to wrestle her way out of it. Piper Niven, the bigger, the heel, but Piper Niven ends up hitting a power bomb to the outside, and they brawl to the outside. Piper Niven gets in time. Kaylee Ray does not, but she keeps the Women's Championship due to the count-out victory. So 30 is fine. It's not really too much. Afterwards, though, Piper Niven gets her own back and destroys Kaylee Ray from behind. So yeah, not too bad. 31 for a Gallus promo on the Black Country Boys, the new NXT Tag Team Champions. NXT UK Tag Team Champions, so to speak. They lost the titles last week. They are not happy at doing so, and they want revenge. Next week, though, another member of Gallus will be in action. He gets a rematch against the returning A-Kid. Joe Coffey said if A-Kid shows his face, he will destroy him. We'll find out what happens next week right here on NXT. But that's not all. Jordan Devlin will host another NXT Cruiserweight Open Challenge next week on NXT UK. Toni Storm was in action for the best match on the night so far anyway. Segment rating of 40. Toni defeating Nina Samuels in about 8 minutes with the strong 0. Toni 46, Nina Samuels 28. Pretty good stuff from everybody involved here. And that's ahead of the main event anyway, so that might be match of the night. Toni is in the ring, challenges Isla Dawn, who comes out to refuse the challenge for 37. These two will go one-on-one eventually, but right now Isla Dawn wants nothing to do with Toni Storm. Main event time sees Volta beat Mark Andrews in about 20 minutes. A good long match for the main event. 48, so it was match of the night. Volta 56, Mark Andrews 48. The first time that Volta has been involved in the save so far in a match, and he has pulled out a good performance with a 56. So we stand tall there. But that's not the closing segment, as Imperium come down to beat up Mark Andrews, and of course Flash Morgan Webster and Ilya Dragunov come out for the save, and the babyfaces stand tall for 30. That gives us a 39 NXT UK, which does increase our popularity in about 53 regions, but it's not a great show, is it? Let's be honest. It's difficult right now. It is difficult, but we're trying to build things up. We're trying. Okay, we end with Friday Night Smackdown on Fox, which over the last few weeks has been some of the best shows we've done. Hopefully that'll continue. We open up with the Universal Champion, Braun Strowman, taking on Robert Roode and beating Robert Roode for 70. Really good match here. Braun 69, Roode 54, 70 rated segment. Braun as the Universal Champion goes over as you'd expect, but he is attacked immediately by Shinsuke Nakamura, who's not done with Strowman yet. 72 for the segment, really good. The idea here is as Strowman's getting to his feet, Nakamura runs in, hits his finisher, and attacks Strowman with a chair shot to the leg, trying to beat his legs in to try and bring him down to size. Afterwards, as we come back from break, Nakamura cuts a promo for 68 saying, "Braun, I'm not finished with you." 68. Pretty good stuff for the the Universal Championship storyline. Good start to the show as well. Pretty good. The announcers then had tonight's main event. Bray Wyatt has promised a match for Roman Reigns. So will it be Roman Reigns versus The Fiend tonight? Let's find out in the main event. Sasha Banks and Bayley come to the ring. Both women were successful at Money in the Bank. Now Sasha Banks has the briefcase, Bayley has the championship. They're interrupted by Mandy Rose and then Carmella, and both babyfaces try and stir the pot between the Boss and Hug connection. Of course, Sasha with the briefcase is probably Bayley's biggest threat, but Bayley believes her best friend would never do that to her. Tag team match is made between all four women, and the match itself is a 64. Really good women's tag team match here. Carmella and Mandy Rose pick up the victory, with Mandy pinning the women's champion. Mandy Rose has rose and rose lately, and she's pinned the women's champion here. 62 from Sasha, Bayley 59, 55 from Mandy, and 56 from Carmella. Really good match. Really, really good match. Much better than I was expecting, to be honest. Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn have a confrontation for 67. Bryan needed scripting, which is a bit of an annoyance. Zayn basically is complaining about the Money in the Bank loss. Bryan says he wants Zayn to be a man and step up to the plate. Zayn then is in action. So will he be a man in his match against Chad Gable, Shorty G? A 64 rated match. So pretty good, actually. Sami Zayn getting the victory with a haluva kick, and it's a more aggressive Zayn now. He's lost the championship. He's got to fight to get it back. He's got to find the Sami Zayn that made him so successful in NXT. The Sami Zayn that got him win after win, that got him the NXT championship. He needs to find the aggressive nature while keeping his heel persona. 64 for the match is very good. I would be very excited if Zayn and Shorty G, Chad Gable, got 18 minutes on a Smackdown. That's brilliant. Afterwards, we go to the backstage area where Daniel Bryan was watching. 74 for this promo, and he's impressed by Sami Zayn's victory. It's then announced next week Bryan will be putting the Intercontinental Championship on the line, and the first man to step up to the plate will be Dolph Ziggler. Dolph did lose at Money in the Bank, but he's been put into the place here by the powers that be. It'll be Bryan versus Ziggler next week for the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus was in action, defeating Elias for 55. 59 for Sheamus, 59 for Elias. She had a 55 rated match. I wonder what brought it down. I'm a little bit confused, really. Holding back. Sheamus declining physical ability is a bit harsh, and there was no storyline, so that's fine. But a 55 rated match is okay, and Sheamus gets a good victory, really, for him. Really good victory. He then cut to backstage promo for 71, hyping himself up, and basically saying that Sheamus is vowing to claw his way back to the very top of the Smackdown brand. Anybody who steps in his way will just get a simple brogue. Miz and Morrison had a celebration after they successfully retained the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at Money in the Bank. It's quickly interrupted by the New Day, Heavy Machinery, and the Forgotten Sons. They all want a shot at Miz and Morrison. 48 for the segment is, well, okay, I guess. It's then announced next week in a triple threat tag team match. It'll be the New Day versus Heavy Machinery versus the Forgotten Sons, and the winner of that one will go on to face The Miz and John Morrison at Backlash. It's time for the main event. Roman Reigns comes out expecting the match, and the Firefly Fun House music hits, and we go to the Firefly Fun House to find Bray Wyatt there, and says, look, I did promise you a match. I did, and you are going to get a match, but it's not against him. You're not going to face him. Instead, you're going to face Rambling Rabbit. Yes, they're going to face Rambling Rabbit. 48 for this segment isn't a great way to end in SmackDown, but let me talk you through it. At that point, the Firefly Funhouse music plays, and come down the ramp is a man in a Rambling Rabbit suit. So it's obviously a man in a suit. We're not hiding from that. He comes down to the ring, quite a pace. He's walking. He comes down to the ring. He gets in the ring and immediately gets speared by Roman Reigns. A spear. The referee's there. 1, 2, 3. Reigns beats Rambling Rabbit like you'd expect. Like you would expect. However, Reigns wants to know who's in the costume. He takes off the mask. He rips off the costume to find a man in a Roman Reigns shirt. Tied. His hands are tied together. His legs are tied together. You couldn't really tell because he was in a costume. But it turns out that the person in the Rambling Rabbit costume is a Roman Reigns fan. Reigns now is very, very upset at what he has done. He's a fan. He calls for medical attention. Medical attention comes out, and Reigns looks up just as Bray Wyatt comes back on the screen, laughing from the Firefly Fun House. See you next week. That's what we're going with. It hasn't transcended well on Total Extreme Wrestling. I hope you at home get what I'm going with. Bray is just sending mind game after mind game to Roman Reigns. It's going to bring the show rating down a 62, which is, well, quite frustrating considering it's probably a low 70s without that. But in terms of the stories we're doing, I think we're doing quite well. We're on the road to Backlash, but what we have done is try and improve as much as we can for NXT Takeover in your house this week. We've moved a lot of storylines forward. Of course, that's the next pay-per-view we've got our eyes on. Next week, then, we'll be building up towards that and Backlash once more. Maybe some of the Backlash matches will be announced. Of course, there is some matches already announced. That big 4-on-4 NXT match will be huge. Undisputed Era against Velveteen Dream, Kushida, and Breezango. Over on SmackDown, it's Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler. I am expecting a good good show. Oh, as in a good week of shows. And not just that, of course, we do have on Raw, the United States Championship will be on the line, Ricochet against Andrade. So make sure you are watching for that. Subscribe to the channel to have every ability to watch it if you can. If you like the video, make sure you like the video. As I say, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, peace.